Greetings and welcome to another exciting episode of Kiara Louis Productions. Today I'm joined by a brother in Christ, and I can say to myself, he's a savior. His name is Tabo. I greet you, Mr. T.
Hey, Mr. Ngoni, Mr. Louis, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Thank you for having me today.
Thank you also for joining me in this episode of Kiara Louis. Okay, so I'm going to discuss about this man. I just titled the as from a savior to a suspect. He's the man who helped a lot of people and also me as well. But today I'm going to talk about me first, and then I'll dive into him and ask him some questions as well. I came here, I can say 2019, and I've been struggling to have a job, also to try to look for a survival. But there is one day when I was walking around in Sea Point, then I found him standing outside with his co-worker. He knew me, and he asked me some questions. I told him that I was looking for a job, and he gave me an opportunity. I started working as a cleaner, and he found interest in me. He found potential in me, and from that day onwards, he believed in me, and I worked in different positions at work. I worked as a public cleaner. I worked as a scholar. I also worked as a kitchen assistant. Up until now, I'm now a hotel junior manager.
And you also work as a security.
Yes, I also went as a security as well. I was a very young security, a very small one. But because you believed in me, he made me who I am today. I'm now a hotel duty manager. I know a lot, and I'm also proud to say he's the man who saved my life from where I was up until now. Okay, so now let's dive into some few questions that I have for you. Mr. T, a lot of people would like to know who exactly is Tamo.
Yeah, look, I came to Cape Town 18 years ago. I followed my big brother. You know, everybody knows him, Uncle Jackie.
Yes.
So we're staying in Khayelitsha. They were like Dhaka boys mixing Dhaka. And I joined them in the industry of mixing Dhaka. And we worked up to a point whereby I could see that, hey, we're not going anywhere. So it was 5 of us.
Yes.
My cousin, whom I took from Limpopo, and my sister, and my brother-in-law and Jake, staying in one room together with my sister. You know what I mean? And the life was very hard. Staying in Kraaifontein, Wallace D. And I walked around Cape Town. When I go to the side of Sea Point, I'm like, oh, okay. There's restaurants. I started asking people, so how do you get into the industry? Yeah. Because I can see this can be my easy way to get out of the poverty that I'm in, because I was mixing Dhaka. Yes. So it was a hard job, and I was so young, I was so tiny, like I was 18. And they said, no, you need to have waitering experience. That's how I went and looked for waitering certificates. So that's how I joined the industry, and that's where I got to be in the hospitality industry.
Okay, so fast forward, when you found me, you were already, I think you've already established yourself in the industry.
Yes.
The question that I have for you, because when you found me, you didn't hesitate to give me an opportunity to work.
Yeah.
My question is, what inspired you to help people to build their career also, and also to build the better life in them?
I think I was more inspired by the experience that I got in Cape Town. It was extremely difficult for me to get a job. It was extremely, no one believed in me that I can have potential to change and also learn quickly.
Yes.
You know, and also the command that I worked for, Spare Corporation. So I think I believe in that. I believe in changing someone into something. I believe in people who are desperate. They can be better workers than people with experience, and that is proven. You know, you can have someone who knows what they're doing. They're gonna always look for a job, and they have got something to do. But in the sense of someone who doesn't have a job, someone who never been in the industry. I once slept under the bridge in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
I once slept hungry in Cape Town, and no one was there to help me. When I knocked the doors to look for a job, nobody understood my problems, or that I slept in. Nobody felt for anything. So
Yes.
when I see someone walking into the doors and saying they're looking for work, and I ask them, what do you do? I do nothing. I know the struggles.
Yes.
I know that if there is 1% chance that someone is going to give them a job.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see. I see. So unlike me, was there or any moment in your life where you went to your extremes to help someone?
Yeah.
Coming from.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
You know Nogobonga?
Yes.
Dube.
Yes.
She's from KwaZulu Natal. She walked one day at Jared's, and then she just sat, and she was in tears.
Mm. Mm.
And I'm asking her, she's a girl child who's from KwaZulu Natal. She lost an auntie or someone that she was staying with. So if I don't give her a job, she's going back home in KwaZulu Natal.
Yes.
And at that moment I had just to speak to Jared, like, look, there's this girl, she's desperate for a job, she's not experienced, but we're willing to give her the training, and we're not actually hiring, but I think we can give her a chance. And I can tell you one thing, it's one of the best hiring that we have ever done. So for me, it's about helping people, it's about changing people's lives, and I believe that legacy is not built in personal wealth.
Yes.
Legacy is built in people. Helping someone from nothing to something.
Yes.
And give them the skill that they can use forever and help another person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now she's a breadwinner for her cousin, she's a breadwinner for her aunts and people who rest it.
So while we're still there, what kind of a sacrifice, being it money or energy, did you make to, or did you sacrifice to help the others or to help someone, that you don't forget that, no, I went this extra mile to help this person to do this?
Look, I've helped so many people that I lost the count. People that I've helped the 10 years ago, people that I've helped the 12 years ago, because wherever I've worked, I've been in a privilege of hiring people. You know what I mean? So I think I've helped a lot of people. Same with the lady that I'm telling you. The lady that I'm telling you, she was staying in a shack, and she was a bartender making minimum wage, and I groomed her to be a waitress. She was old, and she's got a mansion in Crossroads that she stays, and she has been able to raise her kids, her twins. They are now in matric.
Yeah.
But when I've known her, they were in grade 2, grade 3. You see, so it's a life changing.
Yes.
It's a life changing.
Yeah. In all of these helping people, was there like at a certain point or at some time where you say, or you wanted something in return when you were helping people?
Not at all. I think for me it's natural. It's natural because yes, there are times that people could hate me, be it feelings or expectations, because remember, in our community, people, they've got so much expectations.
Yes.
You give them the job, even if they still want you to keep them.
Yes.
Even if they do wrong things within the company, they still want to keep them. And if they are dismissed, they're still gonna go and say a lot of bad things about you that you have never done to them, or just to suit their narrative. Yes, there are times that I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hire anymore. I'm not gonna help people anymore. But I find myself doing it 2 times, 10 times. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just like I can't. I'm not that kind of a person that will just ignore a person if I'm able to help. And you find that it brings stability in most companies that I've worked for. Upskilling people who have nothing, who are desperate, they stay longer, and they are even more loyal.
So out of, let's say, a multitude of people that you have helped, is there any person in particular, or other people who came to you and say, no, you know what, we are grateful for what you did to us, we are grateful, if it wasn't for you, maybe we wouldn't have been here doing this? Are they people, or are there any incidents in in where you found people coming to you just to say thank you for what you did to them or to their lives?
Yeah, look, a lot of people they do. A lot of people they do. They respect me. From time to time, sometimes they even stop them. Like, I know it's okay, man. It's God. Because if God didn't put me in that situation whereby I need to help, or if He even tested my heart that I could help, He wouldn't give me the privilege of being who I am today. So I understand that whatever I've been able to provide to other people doesn't necessarily mean I'm clever. Doesn't mean necessarily I'm good at what I do. You know what I mean? It's God helping me, because I've been also helped with a lot of people that, like there's this lady, her name is Ule Usislindi. She was my manager in my first job in this industry. I was mistreated by the other manager, and she took me under her wing. And I didn't know her. She could feed me. She could give me lunch when I go hungry, because I didn't even have money to buy food. Mind you, I was buying a weekly ticket.
Yes.
And I was getting 1,200 per month from Walasdini coming to Gardens. You know what I mean? So there are people also who have played big role in my career or in my life that I've just met. So all these things, they change you over the years to see, you know what, this is Ubuntu. You know what, this is what you call human, and the humility, and remain humble regardless what you have or what you've achieved in life. You still need to help people. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people who come who are grateful. And also the people that I'm grateful that when I see, and even when sometimes I'll call them, how are you? I'm good. If they want something, and there are people that have also helped their families because they've helped me. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people who are very grateful.
So how did you feel like when maybe someone come to you, or a random person that you have helped, maybe how did you feel when that person come just to say thank you for this? How did that make you feel like?
Look, it's amazing, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing for another soul that you have helped. I had this lady, I think I helped her 10 years ago. She sent me a message last year, just before Christmas. I think it was on the 31st. She said, say Tabo. Mind you, the person who's saying say Tabo, she's in her 50s. She's saying, say Tabo, thank you for giving me a job. This is what I've done in my life. Look at my kids. I know the kids, because I used to even go there and visit them, like in their homes. She's like, thank you for doing that for me, Mtanami. Like, like if it wasn't for you, I would have not been able to achieve or feed my kids or send my kids to school. So for me, when I read the message, I was with my wife. I showed her the message. I was almost in tears. Just helping someone, and someone appreciating you, when I totally forgot that, I've been through Casabella, and these are the people that I've helped been with. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yes. Okay. So at some point, because I've worked with you, and I've seen you helping people and all that, is there any point in time whereby you feel like you were being betrayed, or you were being humiliated by someone maybe you've given an opportunity?
Look, it's there, especially in our community as Africans. It's there. When you help people, 98% they're gonna betray you. 98% they're gonna be stubborn. They don't want change. They want you to treat them like eggs. They don't. Most of them also, we are born into this. Even myself, before, when I was an employee, I know there's things that I've done wrong and things that I didn't want to change. But as you go, you change. Yeah. So there's a lot of people who would come and they expect things to be easy for them. But it's different, because me, my character, I'm a very strict person. So if we are to do the job, let's do the job. If we were to come to work, let's come to work early. If we were to work, let's be professional. So there are guys who don't want to be professional. So what they do is arrogancy, and it's more like, no, you shouldn't be doing that to me. That's mistreating me. But look, it's not me bringing the laws at work. It's the bosses who have invested their money into their own business. Yes, I'm just a worker like you, but it's only that fortunate that I'm able to give you a job. But actually, someone is giving me that opportunity and trusting me with their company, with their invests, with their money, to say, okay, hire Louis. into this position, hire Ngoni into this position, hire Jackie into this position. You know what I mean? But in our community, people, they don't understand that.
Yeah.
If they come to work late, let it be, but it can't be. We've got customers that you need to save. You know, unfortunately, in our industry, they are sensitive people. There's so many cafes, there's so many hotels, there's competition is everywhere. You know what I mean? But yeah, you get those people, and they made me stronger. You know what I mean? They made me stronger. Yeah, there are people who are like that. They're always gonna be like that, but it's a blessing.
I see. So, can you tell me, out of all those people, is there maybe someone, only one person, not mentioning a name, but is there any person whom you have helped and that person turned against you, or that person humiliated you?
I just think if you say turned against me, it's more like if I hire people,
Yes.
I need to control them.
Yeah.
Right? But I just think there's people that I've helped, and then sometimes I see that we can't work together. I've dismissed them, right? Work related or not work related, or they've left themselves, but they're still holding to past things that because look, when you're working or when you're staying in a society, me and you, we're gonna have arguments.
Yes.
Me and you, we're gonna fight. But from there, what do? We sit on the table, we reconcile, and we apologize to each other. It's the same people that I've apologized to. I've apologized to people, even when I know that I'm not wrong. I've gone and say, I'm very, very sorry for what I've done, because I like peace. I'm a very straightforward person. Sometimes people, they find my being straightforward is aggressive, or as no, Tabo is too much. But I think life, I don't like to sleep in my house and think that Abangon is a bad person. Let me just confront you, Ngon. You did this wrong to me, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't like confrontation. A lot of people, they don't like the truth. A lot of people, they don't like facts. They don't like to discuss things on the table. They like to spread rumors. They like to spread wrong things, and we discuss people, which is the black, which is a black disease. Me and you, we need to discuss how do we make this podcast better.
Yes.
Right? How the production company that or the photographer that you're using, is the guy that you're using, can I also use him? You know what I mean? It's about Tabo. How did you get where you are? They end up discussing Tabo every day. Every day. Every day they're discussing money. Every day. Every day as a manager. I think we can relate.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who came to me complaining about you.
Yes.
But I know that they're complaining that you are actually calling them to order in their work frame. You see? So that's where the problem is in our system. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, we are caught in that.
Out of all those things, out of all those people not listening to you, or people not doing what they're supposed to do, how did that affect you mentally or physically? Did it ever affected you? Maybe.
Yeah, of course.
How did it affect you?
Remember, these guys, what they do, they can create lies and spread the lies. That the lies can even get into the boss's ears. You know what I mean? You're running a business and you're hearing these things that you're hearing. You're gonna react. And then I go home like, but I'm gonna help them. And whatever these guys, they are spreading is untrue. You know what I mean? But for me, I think I'm one of the people who've got one of the strongest characters. Yes, it gets to me sometimes, but look, it's not gonna change who I am. I keep on getting focused. I focus on my job, I focus on my family, I focus on my wife. And it changes me. Because even things that I be involved in business wise outside what I do,
Yes.
it's a blessing that came where everybody else was against me. You know what I mean? And not everyone. I can't say everyone. People who have their own agendas. But I can tell you one thing, if God is gonna take your podcasts to reach millions, Tabo can't stop that.
Yes.
Even the person who's taking the videos can't stop that. You see, we're born with our gifts, so nobody can take that. But the problem with us as black people, right? I've got a company.
Yes.
Right? And okay, I've got 20 years experience, I've got 10 years experience in our black community. I want to say my.
Yes.
Instead for taking your expertise and taking this person's expertise, we put together and we build our own black excellence. We can't do that.
Yes.
We can't do that. When people see you doing this and they've got cameras, right? They don't want to collaborate with you.
Yes.
They want to take your ideas and go make their own thing. Do you understand?
I do.
They wish you can die so that they can flourish and have more customers. Whereas there's McDonald's, there's KFC, there is Burger King, but
Yeah.
they are all millionaires. Why can't you have that same mindset as black people? You know, under my leadership, you will never have black managers fighting for positions. I don't allow that. Work hard, focus. Then we rise together.
We rise together. I see. So out of all those good deeds that you did, if do you ever say, or do you think maybe some people who were maybe at your same level, some people who were maybe managers, or some of your friends in the restaurants maybe close to you, feel threatened by your generosity to the other people or to the black community that you have helped?
Look, I think I wouldn't really know what people think or whatever, but I just think some people, they learn. There are people who are selfish. There are people, and also it's insecurity, guys. It's someone who grew up without putting food on the table. It's someone who got a chance to be a manager, and they see Ngoni coming through, and they can see that Ngoni actually Ngoni. Because remember, anyone can spot a talent. Everybody's going to instinct to say, you know what, this guy does it better than this person. So the managers who are going to feel threatened, and how they react by maybe hating Tabo who brought the person, or they will react to Ngoni himself and start mistreating Ngoni, so that you can remain there. So I wouldn't know, but sometimes you can say, okay, there. But me, what I do with that information, or what I do with that analyze in such situation, I try to educate people to say, look, man, no one must feel threatened. And also me, my loyalty, let's say I'm there and I've got people there, my loyalty goes to the people who are there. Regardless, maybe my brother is there.
Yes.
My loyalty at work remains there. Do you understand? My managers makes me who I am. Where I am, I make the people who are on top of me who they are. You know what I mean? So for me, in black community, it's been always educating the guys. Lord, don't feel threatened, the Bengal. There's no way that is going to rise more than how we are rising. Let's educate each other. Let's work hard. Let's take this company to another level. And there's opportunity for everyone. You know what I mean? So those things are there. But do we have to gaslight it? No, we don't have to gaslight it. We have to educate people, because that's where things get to be where they are. Me, I believe in educating people. I believe in transparency. You know what I mean? I don't have to bullshit. I have to call bullshit is bullshit.
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And people, they don't like that. People, they don't like that. They want us to say it's right when it's not right.
What's your take about those people who maybe take it maybe as, no, you got me this because maybe he wants to use me on this, or he gave me this opportunity because maybe somehow you'd want to control me somewhere there, or what's your take on that?
Look, the system controls you, man. The system controls all of us. You know what I mean? Seriously, the system controls all of us. If you're in church, you're controlled. Because the church says don't commit adultery.
Yes.
That's being controlled. If you are a politician, you're being controlled. Everybody's controlled. So it's everywhere.
How did you took it when someone maybe come to you, or maybe when you heard someone saying, I think
I don't
is control.
I don't confront them.
This.
I don't confront them. And to a point where I don't care. I still love them, but I don't care. I'm okay. I helped you to be from A to B. So if you want to move from B to C, it's fine. Even if I see you driving a Ferrari, I'm proud. I'm not a jealous person. There are people that I've helped that have got more than what I have. You know what I mean? And I respect them and I love them. You know what I mean? I don't help people to get something back. I don't help people to say, no, because I helped you. Trust me, I call in for favors. Truly, I call in for favors. A lot. But not, and 90% is not for me. 90% is for someone who comes to me and they say, Tabo, can you do this for me? And I don't have. or I can't do, then I'm like, I'm going, please, this guy, I don't know him or I know him.
I see.
So everybody's controlled. It's the same as you. If you are controlling your workers, are you not?
I am.
Yes, you see. So it's everywhere.
So have you ever maybe thought of stopping helping people?
Countless times. But if it's new, it's new. You can't stop it. The time that I used to drink, and I said tomorrow is my last day, and I would drink even more.
So what keeps you going? What keeps you going? What drives you to keep on helping people?
I'm blessed to have the wife that I have. You know what I mean? I'm blessed to have the wife that I have. Yes, I've been helping people even before she was in my life. But sometimes when it gets to me and I'm sleeping or I'm in bed or we're sitting at home, I'm not going to do this, whatever. And they're like, no, that's your calling. You can't do that. And that's who we are as people. So let's continue doing what you're doing. Let's do our part. And God takes care of everything.
I see. So in helping people and in not stopping helping people, what is it? What is it? Okay, what lesson have you learned? What has it taught you to help people in need, mentally, physically, or spiritually?
Look, spiritually, spiritually, mentally, everywhere. I just think God keeps everyone for a purpose. If you have no purpose, there's no need for you to live. We don't really live for material. We don't really live to have wealthy. Because even Alexander the Great, he was one of the richest men on earth at that moment, but he went to grave with nothing. You know what I mean? Even if I can be a billionaire and my kids are stupid enough to misuse that money, I will die for nothing. But if I die today, knowing that I've helped Ngoni, right? That's legacy. Because Ngoni is going to tell Kiara. And one day, let's say is going to knock on Kiara's door and say, my father was terrible. And Kiara is able to help, let's say, without hesitating. That's legacy.
I see.
That's legacy. That's what we live for.
So would you still choose to help people? Maybe someone you've once helped, and then maybe they lost or they wasted the opportunity that you've given them.
Yes.
Are you still willing? Maybe would you still help that person if that person ever comes back to you and say, "I need help from you"?
I've done a lot, bruh. I said there are people who would swear at me. There are people who would go and say, I'll never ever want to eat able to help me in any case, because they've got their own narrative. And also remember, the more you climb the ladder, the more enemies you make without even doing wrong things with them, because you are a threat to them. Because also they want that opportunity to be able to be there, so they can gaslight other people. Say, don't you see that he's using you when it's not true? And you start believing it, because remember, mind, everything is here. Everything starts here. Even for you to do these things, it didn't start by seeing someone.
Yes.
It started here. On your mind, like, okay, I can do this, and you gather all the vision that you have to be where you are today.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But in that case, there are people that I'll bring and say, okay, you are there. But there are people that I know that, okay, even if I help this one, I'll help from a distance, and I've been doing that. That, okay, I know that one talks too much for no reason, or these people, they are bitter. I'll say, okay, I'll call in for favors now. That, can you help this person? Then they get you up this day. And from a distance, that they change these people, but it's okay. I have no grudge with you. Because me, I don't keep grudges. You know, I helped you, but I'm going to help you from there. And I don't have to tell them that I'm helping you from a distance because you're a problem. Because they're still going to add more grudges, because that's who they are. They just pile grudges, they just pile bitterness, they just pile wrong things, wrong energy, bad energy.
I see. What advice would you give maybe to someone, maybe be it me or be it someone else who wants to help people, but maybe they are afraid of being taken for granted? What advice would you give to someone who would want to help people?
Well, I just think it's a talent. It's a gift. You know, talent is everywhere. What is doing this is a talent. If you tell me set a camera, put lightning, I don't understand it. Do you understand? What you are doing, it's a talent. What I do, it's a talent. What Julius Simalema do, it's a talent. What Helen Slay does, it's a talent. What the owner for McDonald's, what he did, it's a talent. What a pastor does, it's a talent. You know, so there are people with a talent to help people. People that you see wanting in favors, beg, people wanting to do, they're doing it for wrong reasons. Do you understand? If you want to help people, be prepared for anything. if you want to help people, be prepared for anything, because the worst people are the people that you help. So the advice that I give to people: look, help someone, you did your part. If they're gonna mischarge you or misinterpret you, is their own cup of tea. Because why? Your heart knows. You know as a person that they have wronged Ngoni. They have done this. My instinct tells me there are people that have drove more than 30 kilometers to go and say I'm sorry. People that for me from industry, that they will never influence anything from what I do. But I've driven to say sorry. So it's up to them to take it or not. You know what I mean? So it's like that. It's like that. But also what they say doesn't stop me from doing what I do, because I can tell you one thing: in my career, I've been able to escalate in what I want to achieve. I've been able to, and people around me, but when we talk business. You know what I mean? We talk business. When I think you've seen, when I meet people, we talk business. I'm talking about how to better our life. I don't spend time discussing. I didn't go and did this to me. No, you're a human being. You're gonna wrong me. You understand? You and your brothers, or you and your brothers and your sisters, then you fight. We do fight. Yeah, you and even your own father, even my own father or my own mother. There's time when we disagree. But does that mean we need to keep on saying we disagree? No, we move on. But people, they don't want to move on. So people don't want to move on. What do? You apologize for the peace sake, and for you to have peace at your heart, and you move on without them. But helping people, I don't stop helping people. It's up to you to say what you want to say, whatever the case might be. But look, around Cape Town, I've built legacy. I've made people who are overseas. You know what I mean? I've taken someone who can speak English to be a manager, to control people who are fluent in English, people who have got medicine and degrees. But that person, I've told them to use the system and write orders and do things that they couldn't. The people wouldn't believe in themselves. So that's legacy.
I see. So in closing, is there like any moment, or do you have any part in your heart, or where you feel like there is this person whom I've hurt you, or there's this person whom I've helped, but he didn't show any appreciation? Not that he came to say thank you to you, or to say to come and give you money. Is there maybe anything that maybe it hurt you so much to say, no man, if this person would have listened to me, or if this person would have taken the words or the advice that I've given him, or the opportunity that I've given him, maybe somehow he would have been here, or he would have been better in his life or himself by doing this.
Look, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. There are people whom I helped, and then they said, I'm going back to Eastern Cape. I'm like, what are you going to do in Eastern Cape? And they say, no, I'm going, I'm leaving. Or sometimes they don't even say I'm going. And then you're going to hear them calling while they're there or wherever they are, be it whatever, at about want to come back. And you know what I do? I told them, but I told you. And then, trust me, I take them back. You have learned your lesson. And by doing so, and I can tell one thing, God, for me, there are people that I've helped, that I forgot that I helped. There are people who have hate me. That some people who wants to put bitterness in me, they'll say, Tabo, do you remember he did this and this? I'm like, I forgot about that. Why? Because I don't hold grudges. Don't think I'm an angel. I'm not. There are things that I've done wrong also that I'm like, okay, I think I should have handled the decision better. And what do? I self-reconstruct myself. I self-correct myself. Or my wife will call me to order. Like, I know that's wrong what you're doing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then I go and apologize, or I actually tell myself, okay, I mustn't do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who have regretted this. People who say, I'm not a boy, I made the wrong move, I should have listened to you. There are so many people. But at the same time, as I told you, when I help someone, trust me, there's no one who has paid me for anything. And I don't want to be paid because I'm not an agency. You know what I mean? I'm not an agency. I'm just someone who I'm a hard worker. That much I can tell you. But the way I struggled to get a job without experience, it moved me to a point whereby when I see someone and they are serious with what they want to do. Remember, also when you're hiring, there are people who we hire, and then even your boss is like, hey, Tabo, this one, you see, this one, And luckily, the current boss that I have, I've worked with them for 7 years. Most understanding people, very most understanding people. Some bosses they'll say, no, it's your fault. You do this. You know what I mean? They understand. They'll be trying to change people's lives. They get that. But you're put by sometimes I'm like, yes, yeah, So it's people, and people learn the hard way. I also learned the hard way in my beginning of my career. I started as a scholar as well. I started as a runner. You know what I mean? And I still funded myself to go to college.
So how do you come about it when, because you believe in people, when you see someone, you believe in someone to say, I think this person is potential. I remember when you put me as a security, I was very, very thin and very small, but you trusted me with the whole building. How do you do it? How do you, okay, don't you fear maybe to say, maybe what if something goes wrong in this person or in this building or with the business of.
But brother, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How many securities have you seen with a big stomach that they can't even run? Right?
Yeah.
Because in South Africa, being a security means you must have a gun and shoot people. You know what I mean? It's about a security should be actually an honest person, not because yes, skill need to be there. You know what I mean? But I just think also, remember when you're security, it was a secured place, in Sea Point where there is 24/7 CIDs, there is a security PPA and all that. You know what I mean? We wanted someone just to watch movements of people within the building, and also we wanted an opportunity, and that opportunity ended up you being an asset. How many people in your position have come and left the company? You tell me. A lot of people.
Yes.
But you, because sometimes not because you are loyal to the company, you are loyal to the opportunity that I gave you, and you became to also know the bosses in the opportunity that they gave you, then you're still here. That's the foundation of a company. Because changing employees costed the company. Because imagine if I'm to come in your shoes, I can't even now do what to do now, because you now know the system back to me, like you know what you just once. If I get into a position now tonight, you can lose revenue. That's the truth. You can lose revenue because you know that, okay, this room needs to be turned, this needs to be turned, this needs to be done, this we have the regular guest that comes and all this. Instead for me greeting Mr. Martin is, how are you, Mr. Martin? I'm like, how are you, say? But if I was going, how are you, Mr. Martin? Your room is ready, your aisle is there, this is this is, let's go, let's check in. Me, I'm gonna say, no, you can't check in. Let me do the proper procedure.
Yes.
You see, so that's how we've been able to. I think within the ropes that, oh, this person is there, this person is there. But we also need to be to a point whereby we are in entrepreneur. We need to be talking about you owning something, be owning something for our kids.
I see. I think we can spend the whole night here sitting discussing all this opportunity, all these helping that we have done to people. I thank you so much for this opportunity and time that you have given me to share your journey or to share your experience that you have experienced in helping people and also in this hospitality industry. Okay, so thank you so much for being with us on this episode where we were talking about how people were being helped, how people were given experience, opportunities, and some of them they took them for granted. Some of them they took them until and they built themselves. They also allowed themselves to grow, and now they've bettered themselves in their lives. Okay, so please don't forget to follow my page and also to follow these stories, to join the conversations on Kiara Lowy Productions. That's my Facebook page and also Instagram page. And also please don't forget to follow and also to come and eat here at Afro Deli. Yes,
Corner 108 Long Street, 41 Church Street.
yes,
Where you can get African food,
yes,
African cuisine, where you wash your hands and enjoy your food with your hands, like we've been brought up.
there's a lot to eat here, there's a lot to put on the plate, there's a lot of African experience. So please don't forget to share or to like and also to come and dine with us here at Afro Deli. Until next time, bye for now.